Elite Facts presents
Famous psychopaths as kids.
15.
Starting off with one of UK's most renowned serial killers along with his wife Rose, spent a 20-year period murdering at least 12 young girls, some of which were members of their families. Fred was known as a manipulator and would often bring women home with his wife's blessings. They would live with the couple as nannies or carers, but they were fatal mistakes. West was being investigated for raping his own daughter, who had been missing for months. When in 1994, police searched the home and excavated the garden of 25 Cromwell Street. They found human remains belonging to more than just his daughter, and he was arrested for multiple murders along with his wife.
14.
Widely considered a psychopath, Joseph Stalin is estimated to be responsible for anywhere from 20 to 40 million deaths total. Coming from a troubled childhood, he ruled Russia with an iron fist during the Red Terror. To see him as a formative youth is mind-boggling. His calmness and cool demeanor in front of a microphone when addressing a nation shows a distance from the plight of the people he was ruling, sending millions to their deaths in wars and dictating to the largest country in the world.
13.
Known as the Green River Killer, Ridgway was a serial killer convicted of 48 separate murders who later confessed to nearly twice that number. His childhood picture is nothing but innocent, however. As part of his plea bargain, an additional conviction was added, bringing the total number of convictions to 49, making him the most prolific American serial killer in history, according to confirmed murders. He murdered numerous women and girls in Washington state during the 1980s and 1990s. Most of his victims were alleged to be prostitutes and other women in vulnerable situations, including underage runaways.
12.
Between June 4, 1962 and January 4, 1964, DeSalvo killed between 13 women in the Boston area. Pictured here on the left, it's hard to believe he would grow up to be a serial killer. He became known as the Boston Strangler, and his crimes were still being echoed as recently as 2013, as DNA breakthroughs caused his body's exhumation, with the murder of Mary Sullivan being attributed to him.
11.
Just a young kid in the 1890s here, Benito Mussolini would go on to become one of Italy's leaders and, more importantly, the start of the Italian fascist party regime. In 1922, the fascist blackshirts gathered in Rome to demand the resignation of liberal Prime Minister Luigi Facta. The then king refused the government request to declare martial law, which led to Facta's resignation. The king then handed over power to Mussolini. During his reign, he turned Italy into a police state, reverting all power to him and allowed him to go unchallenged in all activities, which included corruption, beatings, police brutality, and uninvestigated murders by the thousands.
10.
Known as the chessboard killer, Pichushkin murdered nearly 50 elderly homeless men in and around Moscow, Russia. According to him, he murdered people because he was competing with another killer. Could you tell from his childhood picture what future awaited him?
9.
Manson is a murderer and a conspiracist who ordered his commune members to murder rich people in Beverly Hills. He's still in prison to this day. Often seen as a crazy man, Manson was methodical in his creation of a cult-like group of people, the Manson family, who he persuaded into carrying out mass murders. One of those murders was the wife of famous director Roman Polanski, Sharon Tate. On August 9, 1969, 10050 Cielo Drive became the scene of the murders of Tate and her unborn baby boy of 8.5 months at the hands of the Manson family. Manson had instructed them to go to the house and totally destroy everyone in it, as gruesome as you can. They stabbed the woman 16 times and killed all others there at the time.
8.
Born in either 1941 or 1942, much of Kim Jong-il's persona is based on a cult personality, meaning that legend and official North Korean government accounts describe his life and actions in ways that promote and legitimize his leadership, including his birth. Over the years, Kim's dominating personality and complete concentration of power has come to define the country of North Korea.
7,
A man whose name has come to signify evil in all its capacities, Hitler is probably the most infamous and evil person in all of human history. He directly caused the deaths of millions of innocent Jews, gypsies, homosexuals, and people with mental and physical illness, not to mention the millions of other lives lost in World War II as an indirect result of his actions. Seeing this baby photo of him is as creepy as it gets.
6,
Hirohito served as Emperor of Japan from 1926 to 1989, but is most remembered for the 1937 war crime called the Rape of Nanjing. During the occupation of Nanjing, the Japanese army committed many atrocities, such as rape, looting, arson, and the execution of prisoners of war and civilians. The death toll is estimated to be around 300,000. It's hard to believe that the happy baby in this picture could preside over such an atrocity.
5,
The commander of the SS Schutzstaffel and head of the concentration camps, Himmler was the mastermind who gassed inmates with toxic poison in chambers and systematically worked and starved them to death. Responsible for the genocide of millions, Himmler committed suicide in 1945. Who would have thought that this innocent young child would grow up to be capable of controlling the misery and death of so many?
4,
Nicknamed the Killer Clown, Gacy was an American serial killer and rapist who was convicted of the sexual assault and murder of at least 33 teenage boys and young men. In a series of killings committed between 1972 and 1978 in Chicago. From his childhood photo, however, he just looks like a standard troublemaker.
3,
The most infamous serial killer of all time, Theodore Robert Bundy, is estimated to have killed anywhere from 40 to 100 women in unspeakably gruesome ways. It's heartbreaking to know the future that awaits this seemingly normal child. Although he didn't kill the most number of people, it was the sideshow that surrounded him. Bundy attracted a media circus due to his good looks, his double escape attempts, leading him to become a top 10 FBI fugitive, the courtroom drama, and his flair for talking, before he was executed in 1989.
2,
Dahmer was an American serial killer and sex offender who committed the rape, murder, and dismemberment of 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. Many of his later murders also involved cannibalism to some extent. Dahmer was beat to death in prison, but his childhood photo is chilling to look at. After his confession and leading up to his execution, Dahmer granted many interviews, all of which he stated no remorse for his actions, but only for the pain it had caused his father and family.
1,
The fifth president of Iraq was largely condemned throughout the world for the brutality of his dictatorship. He was executed after being convicted of charges related to the killings of 148 Iraqi Shi'ites. A lot of people still believe his execution to be the work of the US, as Hussein brought a lot of structure and advantages to Iraq whilst in power, including education benefits for children. There is no doubt he ruled with an iron fist. But of all those in this list, his execution is the most debatable when looked at closely.
Thanks for watching another amazing video, folks. Subscribe for more from Elite Facts.